On the road again. This is the Recruit-Me Athletic Scholarship Podcast, episode number 205. Welcome to the world's longest-running podcast on recruiting and athletic scholarships. I'm John Kugler, founder of Recruit-Me, along with Recruit-Me CEO Brent Hanks. As athletic scholarship coaches, we want to help you as a family succeed at the recruiting world game and get a scholarship for your student athlete. We are each dads of D1 athletes ourselves, and we have a wealth of experience to share. And this 15-minute podcast weekly will change your scholarship future. By the way, you can find every episode on your favorite podcast app or on our website at recruitme.com. If you use your podcast app or any podcast app, that you can go ahead and subscribe and make sure it just shows up every week and you won't have to go search it out. Be sure to check out Recruit-Me 3.0 at recruitme.com/system. It's the step-by-step Recruit-Me Athletic Scholarship System. And we've got the free recruiting power pack. I notice a number of families are picking that up in the last couple of weeks here. You got 3 great tools that you can get there absolutely free at recruitme.com. Well, I'm back in my studio, but we're on the road again. Brent Hanks, CEO of Recruit-Me. Where in the world are you now?
Well, I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, in a hotel room, and somebody's knocking on my door. So hopefully,
Well, what are you doing in Louisville? You're playing ball again, I guess.
Yes, Sutton, my 16-year-old, is playing with the Midwest Nationals. We're playing in I think it's like 80-some teams in this tournament, and so today was the second day. We won yesterday, lost today, kind of hit it where they were, and they hit it where we weren't. So far Sutton's warmed up in the bullpen twice, so hopefully he'll pitch tomorrow.
Okay, well, let's keep him warm, but also keep him rested, right?
That's right. And then Parker's back at home pitching in the Collegiate League, and he pitched 2 innings, gave up 2 runs. I got to watch it on an iScore app. So
I'll tell you, last week you were in Texas, and there's a lot of families that are a little bit jealous right now because there are no sports events going on in some parts of the country. How did you manage to find places? Has it been hard to find places to go and to compete in?
Well, luckily the group that we're playing with has some connections. So we've been lucky. We got to play kind of locally there in Southwest Missouri and in Oklahoma area. And then, we got to go to Texas, and then we're in Louisville this week. We are off next week, and then we're headed off to Oklahoma and then and Kansas City, I think, and then Lubbock, Texas, and then we're done for the summer.
Gee. Okay. Well, we're looking forward to kind of going with you here and learning what you're learning along the way. What I want to talk to you about this week is, well, one lesson that you learn that you can pass along to families here in the recruiting process. You've been through it already. You're going through it now once again, but also your life experience that we can talk about as well. So as we look at this, and as you consider where you've been and in the whole recruiting process and where you've been in life, that we're going to get into that. But I'd like for families to get to know you a little bit. You're the new CEO of Recruit-Me, and I so gladly turned the reins over to you. Tell me a little bit about your family.
Well, I've lived in Ozark, Missouri for 53 years, and guess what? I'm 53 years old. And Ozark's down in Southwest Missouri, down in the Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas kind of corner in Missouri. We're between Springfield and Branson, Missouri. Branson, Missouri is a big tourist place. We are not Ozark like you see on the TV show. That's Lake of the Ozarks. We're
okay.
The Ozark down in Southwest Missouri. Back in high school, I played basketball and baseball, had successful teams and so forth. Went to college at Southwest Missouri State, and Springfield is now Missouri State. And so that changed names, but didn't change my pay after I got when they changed the degrees there. But got my degree in education. I wanted to coach and teach, and possibly in high school and in college.
And where were you competing in sports in college too?
No, I had no idea how to do that. And so I decided I wanted to coach and teach. And then through some connections, again, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Through some connections, I became one of the basketball managers for the basketball team. And there was the coach there then was Charlie Spoonhour. If anybody gets a chance to look up Charlie Spoonhour, he was a great coach in Division One. He ended up at St. Louis University and at UNLV. And I'm the winningest basketball manager in Missouri State history. We went to the NIT for the first time in that school's history, and we went to the NCAA tournament 3 times. So I got to go do some fun things that way. Actually played. I kind of end up doing some stuff because I actually end up practicing with them every day, and we had a JV team that I ended up playing on, and I got paid to do laundry and stuff like that. So probably got about as good of a situation as I could get for not being a big, tall basketball player.
Well, if you were looking to become a coach, man, to be able to be in that situation, you got to see that in action.
Yeah, I got to see how the players felt. I got to see some of the recruiting. I got to sit in the coach's office. Probably one of the neatest things I got to do is we were at an NCAA tournament, and we're in our hotel room and looked up, and there's somebody standing in our doorway, and it was Bobby Knight. So I got to meet Bobby Knight. So
that's cool. That's cool. And that's another thing you and I have in common. I met Bobby Knight too when I was at Indiana at IU.
Yeah. So
he gets around, doesn't he?
Got to meet his son that tournament too. So that was kind of fun. So I got to meet some people and be in situations that was really neat. Made me really appreciate what college athletics could do for you, where it would take you, and the connections that you can get, which actually carried through onto my business. So,
did you end up getting into teaching and coaching?
I actually coached in high school for 2 years, and then my family had a Chevrolet dealership there in Ozark. My dad had bought it my senior year of high school, and he became second generation car dealer, and so I started selling during the summer while I was going to college when I was 18. And after I kind of got out of college and did some of the teaching stuff, I thought, well, it might be better to babysit 30, 40-year-olds than it was to babysit 14, 15, and 16-year-olds. And so I did coach for 2 years, and then I stayed in the car business, and we actually sold it in 2016. So I've been kind of semi-retired for the last 4 years, but I did everything in the dealership. I was a lot boy, so I did everything. I washed cars. I was in sales. I was in finance department. I was a sales manager. I was in the accounting department, marketing, and a general sales manager there for our family's business.
I understand you learned something earlier in your business career that applies to today and this whole athletic scholarship thing and for student athletes and parents. Is that right?
Yeah. Kind of one of the things that kind of hit me as we were looking at subjects is I learned from a manager, you can't get it if you don't ask. And I can kind of even remember back when I was about 18 when he told me this. I went out and helped a customer. And when you do that, you come back in and the managers ask you a bunch of questions, kind of like when a kid goes to school and they get in the car and the parents said, well, how was your day? Well, the manager asked you, what did they like about the car? What was their name? Where do they work? And then the last question was, did you ask them to buy the car? And I said, no. And he said, well, you can't get it if you don't ask. So that was kind of one of the lessons that I took over the next 30 years as I sold cars. And how I think that relates to recruiting is we've got to go out and ask, the coaches a lot of questions, and that's hard for a family, and that's hard for a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid to do, but it's something that we have to kind of swallow our pride and our ego and our fright and ask for the sale, basically.
And that is hard because we get a no, and you got a lot of no's in your career, right?
Yeah, it's a lot like baseball and basketball and any sport. Nobody shoots 100% or nobody bats 1,000, and so really the more times you put yourself out there, you're going to get a lot of no's. And in the car business, if you talked to 10 people and you sold 2 or 3 cars, that was a pretty good ratio. And again, we talk in the Recruit-Me, you've got to go out there and send stuff to 30, 40, 50 schools. guess what? That's going to mean a lot of no's, because you may only get 5, hey, I like yous. And that's hard on a person and a family's ego.
When you were going through that with Parker, you had some no's and you kept asking. Tell us about your experience in this whole principle that you're talking about here.
Well, we just kind of kept asking. And, after we got some no's from some schools, we kind of realized we probably weren't going to go there, but we also, that opened the opportunities and some time for us to send out to other schools. So, again, if you listen to some of the other last 2 podcasts, Parker was an upper level Division II type of pitcher. We kind of knew that, and from some of the offers we were getting, so we kind of decided to stretch our necks out a little bit and go into some of the Division I's, and we got a lot of, well, he doesn't throw hard enough, or we've already got that spot filled, and so forth. And then we just happened to reach out to another about 5 or 6 schools toward the end of his junior year, and they one of them caught us and we caught them. So it was a good situation. So we did continue to ask. We didn't get bogged down in the no's. We just kind of plowed through them and got a yes. So it was good for both of us.
So there's your takeaway, folks, is you can't get it if you don't ask. And the part B of that is, don't be afraid of the no answers. Don't be afraid of those. So Brent, we're heading into the summer here. We're in the summer, middle of the summer. So what do you have planned for in the upcoming episodes? I know you put your pen to paper. You've done some planning. What can our listeners be looking forward to hearing about?
Well, coming out of the pandemic situation that we've had had a lot of, we've had to go get our food through a lot of drive-thrus, right, John?
You bet.
So we're going to talk probably next week a little bit about hitting the drive-thrus, but it's not food places, it's college campuses.
Okay, good. And so that's next week. And what other things are on your mind for future topics?
I would like to go through and try to do a little 4-part series where we talk about what do you do your freshman year, what do you do your sophomore year, what do you do your junior year, and finally your senior year. And I think that'll be something that kind of tells people when you start, how you start, and if you are already in your sophomore or junior year, what you have to do to kind of catch up a little bit.
Okay. Hey, that sounds good. Really digging in. I like that. So that's what you can look forward to, folks, as we get into the rest of this summer. And it's hard to believe that fall is almost here, and we're still not sure in some cases what we're going to be doing and what our kids are going to be doing as student athletes and where they might be competing. But it's really is, Brent, there's preparation that goes into painting a house. You got to scrape it. You got to do the corners, the edges, and all that. And then painting the house doesn't take that long, but let's use this time to prepare no matter what is ahead. Let's do that.
Yeah, just because the coaches can't come out and see, because I think there's a lot of dead period right now from the NCAA, and doesn't mean that you don't reach out and let people know that you're interested in the school. So this will give you an opportunity to do some research and reach out to some schools.
Great. So let me remind you to pick up the free Recruiting Power Pack. It's a must for every high school sports family. You get the PDF, First Steps to an Athletic Scholarship. You also get the audio that I recorded, when and how to use video, and the player profile or resume template. That's invaluable. Go to recruitme.com, and that's where you download it. Brent, I guess you've got a few more days in Louisville, or what's the story here?
Yeah, we'll be here through Sunday, and so we'll take about the 7-hour drive back, and we actually get to go right through where my wife is from, Mount Vernon, Illinois, and so we'll honk and wave as we go by there, and take a week off, and then get back on the road.
Okay, and we're recording this on a Friday, by the way, and when you listen to this, 4th of July weekend will already be behind you.